So now I'm going to show you how to set up a vocal mic and plug it into your setup. So right here I've got the AKG 414. This is the mic I use most of the time. This is actually the XL2 variant, which is a little more appropriate for vocals because it has a little bit of a lift on the high end. Now what I'm going to do is plug it in. It's not actually plugged in yet. Got my XLR cable here, plugging it right into the bottom. And the other end of this cord is going into my interface over here. It's right away, I've got my what's called phantom powered enabled 48 volt. 48V is usually what it says on the interface. Essentially what it means is it's putting some electrical current through the wire to power this microphone. There's a little LED light here that indicates which pickup pattern it's using. There's a bunch of different pickup patterns you can use. Most of the time I keep it on the one which is cardioid, which is just like this pickup section right in front of the mic. It's the most commonly used one. You can also use different pickup patterns depending on your application. But for vocals, usually I use a cardioid pickup pattern. So you might wonder what the hell this thing is, this foam looking weird shell thing around the outside of it. This is actually called a diffuser or a mic shield, sometimes it's called. It is essentially just a half circle of metal that has foam on the inside. And essentially it's simulating what a full vocal booth would do if we had a vocal booth. I have this vocal mic in a room that's pretty echoey. You can probably hear right now. That's because I'm using a shotgun mic for my video setup here, and it's getting more of the ambient noise in the room. I wouldn't use a shotgun mic for vocals necessarily, though it's probably something you could use if that's what you had. This is a really nice mic. This is really specifically something I would use for vocals most of the time. I also use the SM7B, which is the newer version of the SM7, which is a classic microphone. That was the Michael Jackson microphone. So the AKG 414 is actually a condenser mic. It's called what's called a large diaphragm condenser mic. Small diaphragms are skinnier, but this is a large diaphragm condenser mic. Condenser microphones are actually powered, so they are more sensitive than a dynamic microphone like the SM7B. So it's going to require that phantom power coming through the XLR cable like I was talking about, but it's also going to be a little more sensitive to sound. So you're going to need something like this mic shield in order to get a sound that doesn't have as many reflections in it. So if I were in a vocal booth, this wouldn't be a problem. A vocal booth is an isolation booth where there's lots of foam around the singer, so there would be no reflections at all. It's what's called a dead room. So you don't get any reflections inside of a dead room like an ISO booth. So this is just kind of a hack, so you can use it in any room you want. Basically what it's doing is if a vocalist were to sing into this microphone, without this shield here, it would bounce off the wall more. So you would get more of a kind of an echo or reverb sound that you probably wouldn't want, so you can apply your own reverb in production. So I've got this shield on here to cut down on some of those reflections. Also is really important is for vocals is this pop filter. So this is a pop filter. This is real cheap. I think I got this for $12 or something like that. You can get these pretty much anywhere, Amazon, Guitar Center, wherever. They're really, really important, and it's something that you should never forget. Originally, the idea behind these was you could hack this by getting an unbent wire coat hanger and putting a piece of pantyhose over it. So really, it's just a thin, very thin perforated membrane that allows the sound to pass through it, but it doesn't allow air to hit the microphone from a singer's voice. Why is that important? Because it causes artifacts when specific consonants like p or b, p and b, like peanut butter, a word like that were to be sung, or any word with a p or a b sound, it's going to cause a spike. And actually, I'm going to show you right now what that does. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a new track. I'm going to go over here, and this is already prepped for a record arm. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you just have to hit that to make it red and see that it's record arm. That means that it's allowing a signal to come into this track. So now that I have this AKG 414 hooked into one of those inputs on my interface, I can go in here, and since I've already done the setup in the preferences, I can just go to input 1 mono and hit that. You'll see these yellow levels jumping here. So that's going to indicate that I've got signal coming into the DAW. So I'm going to go over here and just hit record. And immediately you're going to see how there's this waveform that's being created inside the track. Now that we've got a track recording in our DAW, I'm going to show you what it looks like when you record those consonant sounds into a microphone without a pop filter. I'm proud to partake of your pecan pie. You can see, look at those spikes that I just made. Those are crazy. That's what's called clipping. And that's not something you want in audio. It's going to make a horrible sound, and it's going to pretty much make your track unusable. So those artifacts, those clipping artifacts, are not going to work for us. So what I'm going to do is going to put the pop filter on there, and I'm going to do my line once again. Proud to partake of your pecan pie. So if you look into your DAW track right now, you can see that those spikes did not happen. Those spikes are mitigated because we have this pop filter in the front of your microphone. So it's really important that you put a pop filter in front of your microphone at all times when you're trying to record vocals. It's just going to save you a lot of time and effort, and it might actually ruin something if you don't use that. So that's something to never forget. It's cheap. There's no reason not to use it. A little bit about placement for pop filters. Pop filter needs to be just a couple inches in front of the microphone. There's all conflicting information around the internet. Some people say minimum 6 inches. Some people say, oh, you only need an inch or so. From my experience, it's about 3 or 4 inches. And really just get the thing off the microphone. A couple of additional pointers on your microphone setup for vocalists. Just make sure that you get a level before you start recording. Less experienced vocalists will probably have a harder time figuring out what the correct distance is, so you might want to help them out based on what kind of recording signal you're getting into your computer. If it's clipping, even with the pop filter, and you dial down the gain and you're still getting really hot values, you might want to have them back up off the mic a little bit. So right now I've got this pop filter. They can go right up on this pop filter. As long as they don't have their mouth on the pop filter itself, if they're just like a very slight bit in front of it, it'll catch those P's and B's and you won't have any artifacting problems. That's pretty much it. Also, it may seem silly, but remember to adjust the height for the height of your vocalist. So if you have a tall vocalist, if you have someone who's a little shorter, make sure that you're adjusting the height. You don't want them craning their neck or trying to crouch down and sing into the mic. That's going to cramp their singing style. It's going to also kind of interrupt the mechanics of their voice. So make sure that it's dead even with where their mouth is when they're standing up and singing.